Welcome back to the PLC podcast. First things first, Jay, I'm sorry. I want to apologize to Jay because if you've been a part of the PLC for longer than 10 minutes, you know that the PLC podcast was hosted by me, Jordan, Jay the homie, whatever you want to call me, and Jay the cleaner, Jay Delgado, whatever you want to refer to him as. We were the hosts of the PLC podcasts. But this variation is just going to be me. I didn't consult with anyone. I didn't consult with Jay first. I'm sorry, Jay. This is the first time you're hearing that it's coming back. But I'm not going to be having a host. But the reason is last year it was tough to coordinate, right? So last year when we had the PLC podcast, I think my computer was not helping things either, but it was tough to coordinate. It's just, you have to sit down with someone for an hour. You have to find that time, have that conversation. Then you got to edit, then you got to upload, then you got to, spread awareness, make sure everyone knows that it's out there. But when it's just me, I can hop on, spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes just talking PLC. And like right now, it's 9:46 on Sunday night, and everyone fell asleep. So all three babies are asleep. My wife is knocked out. She's not been feeling well, so hopefully she, starts feeling well tomorrow when she wakes up. But everyone's KO'd, and I have some time, so I'm gonna hop on and just chat PLC week 1, season 8, week 1. So that's what this is. PLC podcast will be back for this season, but I will be, alone in my, hosting role. I want to say endeavors, but I'm not sure if that's the appropriate use of the word. But PLC podcast will be back this season, but it's just going to be me for the foreseeable future. Jay, I'm sorry. May have guest hosts in the future, but again, logistically, we'll see how that works out. Because it's one thing to say, hey, do you want to record Sunday night at 10 p.m.? And, someone could say, sure, of course, let's go. And then Sunday night at 9:59, baby wakes up, baby poops on herself, baby's upset. And it's, a little tougher to record at 10 p.m. when that's what's happening over here. So all that being said, PLC podcast will be back. Season 8, week 1 is starting now. Jay, again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. All right, let's get into it. Okay, fam, so now that I've got all of the apologies out of the way, I'm sorry again, Jay. I think I've apologized like 5 times already. And I'm going to apologize a million times more, I'm sorry. But let's get into, the PLC Season 8, Week 1. So right now, it is, again, it's, 10 p.m. on Sunday night. I'm well aware that we have 2 hours to go until the waiver wire. The waiver wire weekend closes. This is the first of, I think, 12, 13 that we're going to have, and we have 2 hours. So there could be some moves that happen while I'm recording or after I upload or whatever the case may be. But I just want to talk, where we're at to this point. I want to upload on Monday morning because that's the start of week 1, and I just think that is as good a time as any to toss the first episode up. So I'm pulling up Facebook, actually. I probably should have had that up before I started talking. But yeah, so this is the first thing we're going to talk about is just the transactions. We're going to hop into week 1's matches, and then we're going to talk about, there's no standings to talk about, so I guess it's just going to be those 2 things for now. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. But I am pulling up the post, and this first waiver wire weekend is really just drop your nonsense and pick up what's good on the wire. So just scrolling through, Dan dropped his patience for Zach's team. That's a pretty good acquisition. But let's see. The first, J-Way dropped D's nuts. That's funny. Didn't pick anything up. Come on, buddy. But no, okay. So Speakman, I think Speakman may have missed this Florges, but he did end up getting it anyways. I think Soswick is on the wire too, so I think he made that transaction. But again, look, so Aris drops Sunflora for Mudsdale. That's just too easy. Sunflora is hot garbage, and Mudsdale's really good. So again, just drop your nonsense, pick up the good mons that are there. Ian dropped Oinkalone. I think that may be usable. For Morgrim, Morgrim is obviously usable. It's basically, what's it called? What is that stupid Pokemon's name? I can't think of it, but it's basically Diet Grimmsnarl. That's what Morgrim is. You throw Eviolite on there. You're not really getting any damage output like you would with Grimmsnarl, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But again, the Eviolite's going to boost both your defenses, so that's actually pretty solid. And then he trades Jolteon to Simon for Kilowattrel. So Simon gets a fast evolution, and Ian gets Kilowattrel, set Tailwind, and I think he gets a boost in Tailwind too, so that's cool. But I like speed control, so I think that Ian may have come out slightly ahead. I think Jolteon, does it get Snarl? Jolteon's probably one of the better evolutions, and he even has a little bit of a conversation below it, but I don't have time to read all that, Simon. I'm sorry. Next, so Zach drops. No, he does not drop Squawk ability from Mudsdale because it got sniped. So, again, drop your nonsense, pick up the good ones. Dan drops Toxicroak for Primeape. That's a good pickup. I'm excited to see what Primeape does this year because this is the first opportunity to run Eviolite Primeape. So, potentially pretty solid one. Yet to be determined, but I think it'll be fun to keep an eye on. SB drops Copperajah for Frostlass, which is kind of strange. Copperajah is a tanky mon, Frostlass not so much. Looking at SB's team, he has Blaze Tauros. I think Blaze Tauros probably has, let's see, Anger Point. It does, so I guess that makes sense. So you just got to watch out for that. Boost your attack to max with one move. That's not a bad, and it resists the move too, so that's actually a pretty good pickup for SB. So good move. That's actually pretty solid. Alright, going to Evan, dropping his Delibird that he got in the 11th round, which is absolutely garbage. For Bisharp, good pickup. Bisharp is solid. Bisharp you can also run with Eviolite this year, so that'll be interesting to see. Bisharp was good without Eviolite, so can you imagine? How did people used to run Bisharp? Focus Sash, maybe? And now you can run it with Eviolite, boost your defenses, and you still have access to all your, that's a good pickup. Good move, Evan. That's nice. J-Wade, Quillfish for Dragalge. So, that's not bad. I think Quillfish, it does have Intimidate. I remember that because I think I used it during one of our off-season tournaments. So, Intimidate's good, I guess. But Dragalge, I like Dragalge because adaptability makes its poison-type moves disgustingly powerful. It was really good in Dynamax. I used a slow team with Hat. I think it was Hat and DD, Dragalge. There's some other fun stuff on there. P2, I think, was on that team. Maybe PZ was on that team. I don't know. But Dragalge adaptability is pretty nice. That was in Dynamax, though, so we'll see if it can survive in, non-Dynamax. But, hey, Terra is always an option. So, Corey drops Swalot for Houndoom. So, Houndoom I actually faced this week now, so I'm trying to determine how I want to deal with that. So, it was a good pickup for him, specifically this week, because I have, the Psychic terrain and Expanding Force. So, naturally, you can kind of avoid that with the Dark typing, so that's cool. There we go. Zach drops Squawk ability for Appleton. So Appleton has that 4 times weakness to ice, and you can just Terra out of it. You can actually, Terra into fire, and they hit you with an ice move, and you're not taking any damage. So that's actually a really good pickup, too. Any of the mons that had 4 times weaknesses, you can just Terra to avoid that. Like Tyranitar, for instance, 4 times weak to fighting. In our history, in PLC history, Tyranitar has notoriously been destroyed by different types of fighting moves. Z fighting back in season 2, 3, 4, whatever that was. Close combats on any given Sunday. Tyranitar used to take fighting moves to the chin all the time. You could ask Mike about that because he knows all about it. You'd tech the most random fighting type move onto your Pokemon because it could just one-shot Tyranitar. So now Terra Ghost, boom, you're not taking any damage to fighting type moves. So. But going back to Zach's moves, Appleton, same thing. So 4 times weak to ice, you don't got to worry about that anymore. So that's actually pretty solid. Ian agrees. Good grab. He got a heart, or a hug, reaction from Zach. How sweet. So Speakman drops Sawsbuck for Florges, so that's cool. Aris did a really cool, what did he call it? I think he said, it's not Focus on the Wire, but it is a really awesome concept of a video, and I'm gonna go find it because I want to spread the proper facts. PLC podcast where you come for proper facts. I cannot find his name because I'm subscribed to 122 people on YouTube. That's a lot of people. So for the sake of time, I think it was the Wire Spotlight, if I'm not mistaken. But he did a Wire Spotlight video on Florges and kind of talked about its, calm mindset. It's especially defensive, so one calm mind already makes it, that much more defensive. And then you also get this tunnel vision where, this Pokemon's boosting in front of you. If it sets up another one, you might be screwed. You don't want that to happen, so the focus on the Florges takes the focus away from the partner. So I think that's a good pickup. And, he was spitting facts in that video, so go back and watch it if you haven't already. It's a really good video. And Aris is really good. I mean, he's won 3 championships, so listen to him. Take his advice, and, you'll probably be pretty pretty happy with the results. So Phil drops Vespiquen, picks up Stonejourner. Vespiquen is interesting. That's actually a Pokemon I've not used before, but it is a final Evo. I think it's a 3-stage Evo, or maybe it's just, no, it's Combi to Vespiquen, so I'm actually curious about its stats. Defense and special defense are 102. HP is not bad. Maybe you could use this as a support type mon. I'm just glancing up through its moves real quick. Helping Hand, Taunt, you have U-Turn. That's not necessarily the most helpful, but maybe someone could use that. Those defenses are very respectable. Interesting. Very interesting. But Phil drops it, picks up Stonejourner. So Stonejourner, you get Power Spot, I think is its ability. Boost some moves, pretty solid pickup. Brendan drops Hypno, which is, yeah, first Wire Weekend, drop your nonsense, pick up some good mons, and picks up Gothitelle. So Gothitelle is solid. You get to trap Pokemon in, you get Fake Out. I think you probably, I'm like 99% sure you get Ally Switch if you want to do that. What else does Gothitelle do? It gets competitive if you wanted to run that. Probably not the best set, but it's miles better than Hypno, so good pickup there. Corey tells us to F off. He's not trading his Glamora, which makes sense, I understand, because people were critical of that pick. And then for you to come to his DMs talking about it, that's kind of funny. Simon drops Wugtrio, picks up Glalie. Everyone was hating on Wugtrio. Is Wugtrio really that bad? I understand it's not the best designed Pokemon, but Gooey is reasonable. Rattled and Sandvale. Rattled could be usable too. Defense is trash. Special defense is trash. Yeah, it's trash. Oh, it's fast. It's 120, but its HP is 35. No, don't pick that up. Please, nobody pick up Wugtrio. It's trash. Picks up Glalie. Glalie, I think we have some history in the PLC with Glalie. I think it's kind of funny. One of those funny meme mons. If I'm not mistaken, Jay has a history with it. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. But he picks it up. So, little ice type. Cool. Brian, he trades his for Zach's Tyranitar, trades his Go-Goat. We'll have to confirm that with Zach. See how that goes. And then I actually traded Spidops to Aris for Sudowoodo. So Spidops was, the second to last pick in the draft. Its stats are just really bad. It's just, that's the facts. It's funny because its Pokedex entry talks about how fast it is, and it is not fast. I think its base speed is 35. It's pretty rough. Let's go confirm that. PLC podcast where you get facts all day long. Yeah, 35. Defense is 92, special defense is 86, its attack is 79, its HP is 60. No, it's just not doable. It's just completely underwhelming. So I knew I had to get rid of it. And hey, I may be able to use Sudowoodo. I am considering making another move. Still got 2 hours to go to make that decision, but we'll see how that pans out. But that's it. So, that's the transactions to this point. And again, this first Wire Weekend is usually the most active. It is just, hey, I got stuck with this, Sunflora. I got stuck with this Spidops. I got stuck with this, Hypno. Let me go ahead and drop this and get something that's actually usable. And some people really came up. So I think probably the biggest pickup this weekend, that's probably a segment that I'll do. I'll just do the best pickup of the weekend. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Evan's pickup was the best of the weekend. Yeah, I'll say that Evan's pickup is the best of the weekend because Delibird is the worst Pokemon in the draft list. It's just bad. And then Bisharp is good. So Bisharp's really good, and now that you can run EV Light with it, I think it might be that much better. But again, I think it's Terra, or it's 4 times a week to fighting. So again, Terra to get away from that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb, and say that Evan's pickup was the best this weekend. I'll say that Ian's is pretty solid too, because Morgrim is good. Like, I remember in playoffs last year, I had to face Mike, who had Grimmsnarl, and I was borderline panicking because Grimmsnarl can do so many things, and it's just a really good Pokemon. And Morgrim is, again, Diet Grimmsnarl. So that's a really good pickup. That's, like, really, really solid. Like, Morgrim is borderline number 1 pick material. Maybe not that far. But I think Morgrim is probably first or second round pick material. So Ian gets that on the wire, and that's a really good pick. But I'd say that Evan dropping Delibird, getting Bisharp is probably the pick of the week. So that's the wire. I guess the next thing we can talk about is the schedule. Week 1, we have 8 matchups coming, 8 matches to be played. And then, again, standings would typically be, probably the next thing we talk about. But since everyone's 0-0, not much to see here. So, week 1, we have Speakman at SB. Speakman, actually, you know what would make this interesting? Is if I pull up the PLC history as well, because we have that. So, bear with me for 25 seconds while I pull up the PLC history. And if you can hear that mouse in the background clicking, I apologize, because that's probably not fun to listen to. It'll be done soon. Okay. And I'll even put this over here so I don't have to click as much. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll talk about the matchups, because that's cool, right? This week, Monday through Friday, we have 8 matches to be played. But we'll talk about the history of the 2 players that are playing. Granted, this is updated through Season 6, so Season 7 standings or historical standings aren't updated. I should probably work on that soon. But it'll still be fun to kind of see how these players stack up. So Speakman and SB. Speakman had a really good season last year. He was the People's Champ because he inherited an 0-4 team, and I think he turned it around pretty well. He actually finished, I think he finished just outside of playoffs, but it was close, and he played well. He had more wins than losses by a long shot. I do remember that. And it'd be really cool if I could find his name in my spreadsheet. You know what I mean? All right, there's SB. So SB and Speakman. They have never matched up. Now I have to pull up Season 7. No, I can't do all that. I can't do that so this may be inaccurate. Again, this is updated through Season 6, and they may have played last season. If you guys have, just at me in chat and let me know. But to this point, it doesn't look like they've ever played. They may have played in Season 7, I apologize, but before that, it hasn't happened. So Speakman and SB, that's going to be an interesting matchup. First time for everything. And the next match. So I'm not going to do picks. That was kind of a thing that Jay and I did together, and it was fun to, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? And kind of go back and forth. I'm not going to do that this time around because it's just me. Again, if you're still listening, I appreciate it. If you're not, that's fair. I understand. Aris and Brian. So Aris and Brian have a storied history, actually, because Brian always dogs the crap out of Aris. And everyone knows it. So Aris has played Brian 7,000 times. No, he's actually only lost to him twice in the regular season. Now I feel like I have to pull up Season 7. Do you want to know why? Because I think they may have played in the playoffs last year. And I'd feel stupid for not sharing that on the PLC podcast where we only spit facts. So I'm going to pull up Season 7 as well. May not do this for every matchup, but I will do it for this one because I think they played in playoffs. What the freaking heck am I talking about? Did Reese make playoffs last year? No, he didn't. Well, I'm dumb. Yeah, well, I'm dumb. All right, so they didn't play in playoffs last year. But, again, they may have played in Season 7, last year in the regular season, but I just don't have those stats right now. But Brian notoriously beats Aris when they do match up, so So yeah, there's that. He's lost to him twice through season 6. Aris has lost to Brian twice in the regular season through season 6. So it'll be fun to see, if Aris can shake those demons as they play this week. So it's cool to keep an eye on. Ty and Phil. So Ty and Phil, they have been with us for a while as well, and they have. There's Phil. There's Ty. They've never played each other. Get the freaking heck out of here, bro. You know what I could do? I could look at the standings because we played everyone. So Ty and Phil both played last season. So they did play last season for the first time. But again, don't have those results. I'm not going to scroll through and find them. So this will be their second matchup of all time. And, it'll be pretty fun to keep an eye on. So as they look to build more history with each other, it'll be fun to see who comes out on top. Brendan and Evan have actually played. So Brendan and Evan have gotten their match out of the way. That is the first battle of Season 8, and it's already done. I do know who won. I'm not going to share that with you. You will have to wait till the stream because it is recorded. But Brendan and Evan did play 4 matches last season. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll real quick. So Evan, he was 0-4, so he did lose a few times. So he lost to Phil. Evan lost to me. I'm the freaking man. Evan lost to Jay Wade, and then Evan lost to Justin. So they've actually never played. So Brendan and Evan just matched up for the first time. They've got a little bit of history now because, again, I know who won that battle. I'm not going to say anything, but that is done. So, yeah, first battle under their belt for both of them against each other. And, yeah, cool. It'll be fun to see that, storyline develop. Yeah, but cool stuff. So I played Corey. So Corey is the only rookie this year, I guess. So you could technically consider Evan a rookie because, in the NBA, if you play like in the preseason during your rookie year and you get hurt for the entire season, the next season is considered your rookie season. So I guess we could technically do the same thing with Evan. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to officially, Evan, you're a rookie this year. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, are you? I go back and forth with that. Because he played 4 matches last year. So I don't know. Well, Evan, you're not a rookie. You're not a rookie. You are not eligible for Rookie of the Year. Corey, you're going to win Rookie of the Year by default because you are the only rookie this year. But yeah, I played Corey this week. And Corey seems to know his stuff. I mean, he picked up a Dark type to go up against my Psychic type Pokemon. So, I mean, just that alone is something that, someone with a little bit of experience does. And Corey, I don't know, if you have much Pokemon, competitive Pokemon experience, doubles experience, 6v6. I'm not sure. But it looks like you know what you're doing. From the outside looking in, it looks like, you have a little bit of background. So it'll be fun to see, what happens. Again, I am decent. I'm never, not never, because last year I finished pretty well, but I'm usually in the middle of the pack, and I can make things competitive. So it'll be fun I'm excited to play you. It'll be a good time. Jay Wade, so the other Jordan in the group, is playing Ian. This freaking matchup is always the freaking best. I freaking love it. History. I want to see the history here. This is funny. All right, Ian and Jay Wade. So this is the Battle of 1812. Actually, was that? Now I have to look it up. I'm sorry. The Battle of... Is it 1912? No, it's 1812, right? The Battle of 1812. Conflict fought between the United States and Great Britain. I freaking love it. This is the Revolutionary War. This is the Battle of 1812, all wrapped up in 1 week of PLC greatness. Ian, you and Jay Wade have played each other, oh my goodness, a bunch of times. So, regular season, again, this is through Season 6, Ian has defeated Jay Wade twice, but he's lost to him once. He's defeated him in 1 game in the playoffs, which lends itself to him beating him in the play-in round. But overall, Ian leads the overall record 3-1. I'm going to look at Season 7, because was that a playoff matchup? No. When did you guys play? Was that Season 6 that you guys played? It must have been, right? I don't know. I'm not going to, dig that far. But yeah, Ian and Jay Wade, they both talk so much trash. You know what I mean? And the trash doesn't just stop at, hey, your team sucks, I'm going to beat you. It's like, your country sucks, and this is why I'm going to beat you. So that's why this one's always fun to keep an eye on. So, I mean, we're getting that right off the bat. Reese and Brian, Jay Wade, Ian, right off the bat to start season 8. This is freaking wonderful. I love it. It'll be fun to watch. So that's always a good one to keep an eye on every time it happens. Zach and Simon. So this will be a good one too because Zach is last season he absolutely destroyed everybody. Last season was ridiculous. Zach finished at, if I look at the standings, he finished at 13-3 last year. 3 losses. Simon, on the other hand, finished 2-14. So we have, the number 1 player going up against the number 16 player. Are we looking at rooms for an upset? You know what I mean? It happens. If you're a, college basketball fan, a number 1 seed matching up with a 16 seed happens every year, 4 times in the March Madness tournament. So I think there's been 1 upset. Has there been 1 or 2? I want to say there's been 1. 16-1 upset. So, maybe we're looking at 1 here. I don't know. It'll be fun to keep an eye on. Zach's got a dangerous team. I know he went through his, preseason stuff or post-draft before week 1 stuff. But his team is solid. So I'm not going to, doubt him at all. And Simon, I think 2-14 last year. I think he is looking to improve on that record this year. So it'll be exciting to see what he ends up doing, what he brings, how he plays, and hopefully he can make it competitive. And history-wise, let's take a look at the history. All right, history-wise, Zach has played Simon 1 time. They did play last year at some point. And with Zach's record, only dropping 3 games, I'm going to venture to say that he beat Simon, so I think he may lead the overall, history 2-0. But I just glanced at the schedule. I'm not going to, go back through all that. But, yeah, Zach is, at least through Season 6, they played 1 time, and Zach came out on top in that matchup. But, yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Again, number 1 versus number 16, essentially, so it'll be cool to keep an eye on that. And then the last matchup for the week is Dan and Justin, and Dan is competitive. Dan is, usually in playoffs every year. He talks a lot of trash. He takes it very serious. Justin, on the other hand, Justin shows up. And that's not to say that Justin doesn't make it competitive. Justin does make his battles competitive. Last season, he finished 6-10, which is respectable. I think in season 5 or 6, it was a little rougher, if I remember correctly. But again, last year Justin came out 6-10, and I think he was actually, if I remember correctly, he might have been like 3-0 to start the season. I'm just gonna glance. Oh no, he lost to Zach week 1. He lost to Ty in week 2. Yeah, no, he beat Aretha in week 3. Hold on, he beat Evan in. Evan dropped. Okay, that's fine. So he's 2-2. Justin won against Simon. He's 3-2. Justin won against Ian. He's 4-2. Again, this is season 7. Justin beat Phil. He's 5-2. Wait, am I right? I don't know. Whatever. We'll just pretend I'm right. I forgot that fast. He didn't have a bye. Where the freaking heck is he? Where the freaking? Oh, he lost to me. I beat him in week 8. Okay, so 5-3 last year, but I'm getting to this is my ultimate point is that he was competitive for a period in time last year. It looks like he actually lost his last 4 games, so that's not fun. He was 6-6 before that, but I don't know. Justin makes things competitive. Justin shows up. He doesn't make a lot of wire picks. He doesn't make a lot of trades. He doesn't do a lot of those things. But when you say, hey, it's time to battle, he's gonna show up, and you have to make sure you're on your P's and Q's, or you're gonna lose. That's just facts. So Dan and Justin, it'll be fun to watch what you guys do. Historically speaking, let me scroll and scroll and scroll some more. Okay, Dan and Justin. Dan and Justin have played twice, again through season 6. I'm not sure what their season 7 result was, but Dan has won both times. So Dan is, edging him out. Even if he lost, their season 7 still, leading the overall head-to-head 2-1. So yeah, Dan is a little bit on top in this week's matchup. So that's basically it. That's the last match of the week. Again, transactions we've covered, standings. Right now there's nothing to discuss there. Playoffs, clearly nothing to discuss. It's just I'm ready for a good season. So there is still an hour and 45 minutes to make some transactions. So it's possible that, some stuff squeaks through that I'm not going to talk about in this episode. But I just want to record this episode, one, because I had time, and two, because I wanted this to be out on Monday, the start of week 1, season 8. So yeah, I'm super excited. Again, the PLC podcast will be back this year. I'm going to be doing this every week. I'm going to be talking through transactions. I'm talking through teams. I'm going to talk through, weeks, matchups. I'm going to talk through standing. I'm going to talk through all that stuff, just the same as we did before, but it's just going to be me for now. And Jay, I apologize again. It's just, logistically speaking, this just makes the most sense. I can hop on, I can have some fun conversations and hop off if need be, but record when I can. So that's just ultimately what this is. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far, you are the freaking best. If you made it this far, little Easter egg, send me a message in chat at me and say Solid Snake. That'll just be kind of cool. Because if anyone gets there and does that, freaking flames. That'll be so freaking fire. But yeah, guys, I hope this sounds great. I hope you guys are excited for the season. I know I am. And I hope that we make it a good one. Hopefully we don't fall out this year. It's going to happen at some point. Somebody. But hopefully it's not for a while. Hopefully we can make it through 12 weeks, right? Last season, I think everyone was freaking out. We had 17 weeks. We basically played an NFL season last year. We played an NFL season with wild card rounds, divisional, conference, and then the Super Bowl. That's ridiculous. We are not getting paid millions of dollars to do this. It's all for fun. NFL players are getting paid the big bucks. That's why they do it. And we basically did what they did for, 4 or 5 months last year, which was wild. So hopefully tempers aren't flaring as much this season. We can get through 12 weeks amicably and make it a good year. I will see you guys in chat, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and yeah, that's all. Peace.